You're listening to Plants and Politics with Gina Bonanno Lemos. If you're ready to hear the truth about both sides of the aisle, what's really going on in America, and how big money interests prevent change to keep you sick, broke, and desperate, then play on. Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. This is Gina. Oh boy. So this has been like a roller coaster this morning in regard to the Ghislaine Maxwell case. As you all know, if you've been following the podcast or the videos, Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys made a last-ditch effort. They requested that the judge reverse her ruling from last week, which would have allowed all of the documents from a 2015 defamation lawsuit to be released today. So the judge made that ruling last Thursday. She allowed them 7 days to appeal. Everything was to be released today. Her attorney made a last-minute request saying, no, will you please reconsider? Well, the judge last night ordered that she would not order and continue on with the release of two key depositions, which one being Ghislaine Maxwell herself, and that was going to be held until those two depositions would be held from being released, and any information that referred to those depositions or cited any information in those depositions until Monday. So she was doing this to give them time to file a formal appeal. What she also ordered last night, though, was that all other material, all photos, if there were videos, any other depositions by alleged Epstein and Maxwell victims, anonymous women who had given depositions and statements, all of that was going to still be released today. So that was her ruling as of last night. Well, now Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney has filed an appeal with the Second Circuit in Manhattan, and CNBC, unfortunately, is reporting that this appeal could cause a delay of a release of any of the documentation indefinitely. So we have no idea when or if any of that's going to come out now. So this is the game. They wait the whole week, they wait until the last minute, and then they file the appeal, and then it takes longer. And so who knows? Who knows if this is going to happen? I mean, this is so frustrating that these criminals can get away with this crap. And here's my question. What was the point in her giving them a week to file an appeal if she's then going to order that she's going to give them another couple of days and give them till Monday to release the depositions? What was the whole last week about? This kind of stuff highlights the disparate treatment between defendants with money and your average citizen, because this wouldn't have been allowed. She wouldn't have said, okay, yeah, I know I gave you a week, but I'll give you another couple days. And this isn't the only special treatment that Ghislaine Maxwell has received. So several news outlets over the last week have reported that inmates were ordered to clean the entire second floor of the prison prior to Maxwell's arrival. And an inmate told the New York Daily News, quote, "The only time we were allowed on the floor Ms. Maxwell has to herself is when they sent us to clean it and polish the floor for her. We had to polish it 3 times so it would be ready for her." I mean, unbelievable. I don't necessarily have an issue with her having a floor to herself, because I don't want her to, quote, commit suicide like Jeffrey Epstein supposedly did. But really, she needs a polished floor. Fellow inmates also claim that Ghislaine Maxwell is given 3 hours of recreation time each day, whereas all other inmates are only allowed 2 hours. She's also allowed to have the yard to herself, and all other inmates are locked inside. Now, this one I don't, again, have a problem with, because I want her alive, right? I mean, it's not hard to imagine that someone with power and connections would offer another inmate an early release or financial incentive to take her out. Look at what happened to Epstein. I don't think anyone on the planet buys that he committed suicide. So that's where we're at, guys. I was really hoping to be able to dive into these details today and get into the documents and see what all was contained in there, because these documents have been sealed. For those of you who don't know, Virginia Giuffre claims that she was victimized by Epstein and Maxwell, and that they forced her to have sex with other people, including Prince Andrew. And there are pictures of the three of them together, Prince Andrew, Virginia Giuffre, and Ghislaine Maxwell. And can we just take a moment to really praise Virginia Giuffre? There are a lot of victims out there. There's a lot of women that were victimized by this couple and so many other sick perverts. And I don't want to diminish any of the other victims, but it takes so much courage to not only come forward and speak out on the record using your name, as Virginia Giuffre has done. I'm sure she has been targeted like nobody could even imagine, by not just Maxwell and her friends and, other pedophiles that may have been involved in this, but just in general. We live in such a polarized society right now, and God knows, with how Trump has been tied to this whole case and how he's been actually accused by one of Epstein's alleged victims of raping her. And if you aren't aware of that, please go back and watch the video that I made or listen to the podcast. I just give her so much credit. She's so brave to come forward, to speak out on the record. This is the only way that we're going to end stuff like this. We need to make it safe for victims and let them know they have nothing to be ashamed of. Sexual assault victims should not be the ones that hang their heads in shame and hide. It should be the disgusting pedophiles and other sexual predators who are harming people, who are stealing the innocence of these children, who have clearly something wrong in their heads and need to be locked up permanently. So the victims, if you're out there and you're a victim of sexual assault by anyone, you have nothing to be ashamed of. It was not your fault. You should not be hiding, and you have every right to demand justice. You have every right to come forward, speak out proudly, because you were a victim. And that was not your fault, and you should not hide in shame, and you absolutely should speak out so that it won't continue, because these people are sick, and it doesn't end. It's not just one person. It's never just one victim. There's always so many more that nobody knows about. And you give other women courage, or other victims in general, and it's not just women, but you give other victims courage when you do so. Anyway, shout out to Virginia Giuffre. I'm in awe of her strength and perseverance, and I admire her so much. Anyway, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything new on this front. All right, take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.